This is in continuation of last part. Please have a view on that session. If someone is picking this for the start and not connected with the previous one, then it would be little difficult to connect the dot. The link for the same is given in the description box. Please connect to have better understanding of this session. Bhagavad Gita and managerial effectiveness. Now let us examine some of the modern management concept in the light of Bhagavad Gita. A good mentor is more valuable than an entire army. The first lesson in the management science is to choose wisely and utilize optimally the scarce resources if one has to succeed in his venture. During the curtain raises before the Mahabharata war, Duryodhana chose Sri Krishna's large army, Narayani Sena, for his help, while Arjuna selected Sri Krishna's wisdom, man without arms, for his support. This incident gives us a clue as whom is the effective manager. Attitude toward work. 3 stonecutters were engaged in erecting a temple. As a usual, HR consultant asked them what they were doing. The response of the 3 workers to this innocent-looking questions is illuminated as, "I am a poor man. I have to maintain my family. I am making a living here," said the first stonecutter with an unhappy face. "Well, I work here because I want to show that I am the best stonecutter in the country," said the second one with a sense of pride. "Oh, I want to build the most beautiful temple in the country," said the third one with a visionary shine. Their jobs were identical, but their perceptions were different. What Gita tells us is to develop the visionary perspective in the work we do. It tells us to develop a sense of large vision of one's work. Work commitment. कर्मणे वाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफल हेतुर्भूत माते संगोस्त्वयि कर्मणि. The popular verse 2.47 of the Bhagavad Gita advises no attachment to the fruits or the results of the action performed in the course of one's duty. Dedicated work with man has mean work for the sake of work. If we are always calculating the date of promotions for putting in our effort, then such work cannot be committed-oriented, causing excellence in the results, but it will be the promotion-oriented, resulting in inevitable disappointments. Putting performance toward the anticipated benefits, the quality of the performance suffers on account of the mental agitation caused by the anxieties of the future. Bhagavad Gita tells us not to mortgage the present commitment to an uncertain future. If we are not able to measure up to this height, then surely the fault lies with us and not the teaching. Some people argue that being unattached to the consequences of one's actions would make one unaccountable. Bhagavad Gita is full of advices on the theory of cause and effect, making the doers responsible for the consequences of his deeds. The Gita, while advising detachment from the greed of the selfish gains by discharging one's accepted duty, does not forgive anybody on the consequences arising from the discharge of his responsibilities. Success is not in the result. Success is not in the achievement. Success is not what you get at the end. That's not what defines success. Success is in your endeavor, your intentions, your effort, the characters that goes behind the noble things that you are trying to do. And once you invested all of these things, whatever result may be actually inconsequential, it's already a success. In the Bhagavad Gita, this is known as Karma Yoga, or the art of working, the art of detached work. And this is the one of the best powerful things that people can use in their life. because in this world people are so stressed, people are so deflected, demoralized and depressed because they measure success in wrong way. When we measure success in wrong way, we fall in the concerns of the mind, competing with others, comparing with others, but you are on your own journey and you only need to do your best, and that is the success. This was brilliant guide to the operating management for the energy conservations and a preventive method against stress in the work situation. Learning managerial stress prevention methods is quite costly nowadays, and if only we understand the Bhagavad Gita, we get the cured free of the cost. The best means for effective work. Performance is the because the work itself. Attaining this state of niskam karma is the right attitude to work because it stops the mind from indulgence through speculations of the future gains or the loss. This situation is explained by the theory of self-realizations and self-transcendental propounded in the Bhagavad Gita. It involves leaving ego, putting others before oneself, teamwork, self-respect, sharing, cooperation, harmony, trust, sacrificing lower needs for higher goals, seeing others in you and yourselves in others, etc. The portrait of self-realizing person is that he is a man who aims at his own position and underrates everything else. On the other hand, the self-transcendental are the visionaries and innovators. Their firm effort enables them to achieve the apparently impossible. They overcome all barriers to reach their goal. Work culture. In chapter 16 of the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna elaborate on two types of work ethic. Those are Devi Sampad means divine work culture and Asuri Sampad means demonic work culture. Devi work culture means fearlessness, purity, self-control, sacrifice, straightforwardness, self-discipline, calmness, absence of fault-finding, absence of greed, gentleness, modesty, absence of envy and pride. Asuri work culture means ego, misbelief, desire-centric, improper performance, work which is not oriented towards service. It is be noted that where work ethic is not enough in as much as hardened criminal has also a very good work culture. What is needed is the work ethic conditions by the ethic in the work. Buddhi yukto jahati ubhe sukrit duskrite tasmad yogaye ujasva yogaha karmasu kausalam. Bhagavad Gita 2.50. Yogaha karmasu kausalam. Yoga is the skill in action. That is, skill in actions is the remain equal in success or the failure of action and the attainment or non-attainment of the fruits of those actions. If the meaning of this verses is skill in action is yoga, then what is the objection if it done like this? If the meaning is interpreted in this way, then the persons who stills very skillfully and carefully his karma in the form of theft will also become yoga. Therefore, it is inappropriate to make such a meaning. Someone can say that we consider yoga to be the practice of performing the prescribed rituals efficiently. But by believing this, man will be bound by the fruits of his skillfully cultivated actions, due to which his conditions will not remain equal. Therefore, it is appropriate to take the meaning here as yoga is efficiency in the action. The reason is that the one who has equanimity in his heart even while doing the deeds will not be bound by the deeds and their results. Therefore, to remain calm while performing action that lead to creation and destruction in skill and wisdom. Work results. The Gita further explains the theory of non-attachment to the results of the work. Chapter 18, verse 14. Adhishthanam tada karta karanam cha pritak vidam vividashta pritak cheshta daivam chaivatra panchamam. The import of which is that if result of sincere effort is a success, then entire credit should not be appropriated by the doer alone. If the result of sincere effort is a failure, then too the entire blame does not accrue to the doers. The former attitude calms arrogance, while the latter prevents excessive hopelessness, demotivation. Thus, both these natures safeguard the doer against psychological vulnerability, which is the cause for the manager's companions like diabetes, high blood pressure, ulcer, etc. There is also another dimension in the work ethic. If the Karma Yoga is blended with the Bhakti Yoga, then the work itself becomes worship, a Seva Yoga. Great. Manager's mental health. Sound mental health is the goal of any human activity, more so management too. An expert describes sound mental health as that state of mind which can maintain a calm, positive self-control in it. Internal constancy and peace are the prerequisition for the health stress-free mind. Some of the barriers sound to mental health are greed for power, positions, prestige, and money, jealousy regarding others' achievements, success, rewards, ego about one's own accomplishment, doubt, anger, frustration, suffering through comparisons. The driving forces in the today rat race are speed and greed, as well as ambitions and competition. The outcome from these forces is loss of one's ethic, moral fiber, which replaces the value system like tax avoidance, undercutting, spreading rumor against the competitors, business spying, prompting industrial trouble in the business rivals, establishment, etc. Although these practices are taken as normal business hazards for achieving progress, they always end up as a pursuit of mirage. The more the needs, for the more disappointment. This phenomenon may be called as Ayati syndrome. In Mahabharata, we come across a king called Ayati who, in order to celebration in the endless enjoyment of flesh, exchange his old age with the youth of his winning youngest son for the mythical 1000th year. However, the lost himself in the pursuit of sensual enjoyment and fell penitent. He came back to his son, begging to take back his youth. This Ayati syndrome shows the conflict between the externally directed attainment and inner conscience. Gita tells us how to get out of this universal phenomenon by prescribing the capsules like cultivate sound philosophy of life, strive for excellence through work is worship, build up an internal integrated reference point to face contradictory impulses. Cultivating this understanding by a manager would lead him to freedom from the fabricating ego-conscious state of confusion and distortion to a state of pure and free mind, that is universal supreme consciousness, so that he can prove his effectiveness in discharging whatever duties that have fallen to his domain. People need those who practice what they preach. This is the next point. Whatever the excellent and best ones do, the commoners follow. So says Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 verse 21. यददाचष्टि श्रेष्ठ ततदैवेतरो जना स यत् प्रमाणं कुर्ते लोकस्तदु वर्तते. Means whatsoever a great man does, that the other men also do. Whatever he set up as a standard, the other world mankind follows. This is the leadership quality prescribed in the Bhagavad Gita. The visionary leaders must also be a visionary, extremely practical, intensively dynamic, and capable of translating dreams into reality. This dynamism and strength of a true leader flows from an inspired and spontaneous motivations to help others. I am the strength of those who are lacking of the personal desire and attachment. Oh Arjuna, I am the legitimate desire in those who are not opposed to the morality, says Sri Krishna in 10th chapter of Gita. Tesham eva anukampartam am agyanjam tama nasyamya atma bhavasto gyandipen bhasvata. Means, out of mere compassion for them, I dwelling within their self, destroy the darkness born of ignorance by the luminous lamp of knowledge. With this, I am putting my word at rest, small segment of it being left out. That would be taken up in the next session. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Jai Hind.